So, let me hit you guys with some boxing talk. Chris Eubank Jr. versus Connor Benn. Now, I don't know how the fight's going to play out. Again, I just look at what both fighters have and look at what appears to be, to myself anyway, the more logical outcome of the fight, but you just never know what's going to happen. Now, when I look at the height and reach advantage of Chris Eubank Jr. and I look at his ability to work off of the jab when he needs to, because he can, and he has a nice sharp jab when he needs to. Connor Benn, the way he's conducting himself is like really, I think his cockiness, his ego will allow him to go in and try to go for the knockout, and he may very well succeed. Now, when I'm looking at the fact that I'm looking at his size, man, and truthfully, man, I don't see anything that Connor Benn has that Chris Eubank Jr. should not be able to handle. I mean, he's faced better competition, yeah, and he's faced guys that, in my opinion, would beat Connor Benn. But, every fight is different. So, I'm looking for Chris Eubank Jr. to outbox him and pretty much win this fight. Connor Benn, on the other hand, maybe he'll surprise us. Maybe he'll come out and fight more disciplined. But I really feel like, man, if Chris is putting hands on him, and Chris is probably going to smile and smirk, say little shit to him to get under his skin, Connor will feed right into it. I just don't see Connor being able to hold his composure and fight a disciplined, smart fight. Even if he does it for a little while, I just think he's going to go for the KO. I think it's just in him that he feels like he has to. He really believes that he can. And, Chris Eubank Jr., his experience and his boxing skill should allow him to pretty much win a unanimous decision if he doesn't stop him. If Chris Eubank Jr. legs can still get him around, not that he needs to be on the back foot, but I think he just needs to keep Connor on the end of his jab, work off of the jab, tie him up when he needs to, spin off him, like just give him a boxing lesson, because I just feel like between the two that Connor will be the first one to really lose his temper and try to, really just go for the KO. And like I said, it might work for him, it might not. I just feel like Connor needs to be humbled, man. Like, he's very arrogant, man. They're all arrogant, but his arrogance is like next level. Like, he just talks like, Connor talks like he's done a lot more than what he's done. Like, he's far more accomplished than what he is, and like he just have classic fights with nothing but top level guys. And really, Connor Benn has the resume of a prospect, of a guy that's up and coming. That's the type of resume he has. And I remember I was giving him his props for winning fights and, looking impressive when other people wasn't. The other thing about Connor is, ever since he got popped dirty, where's the knockouts? Where's that ferociousness? Right? So all of the things that he's saying, and I noticed, like I said, when you look at these guys, when, I understand, Chris and Connor, this the whole thing with their dads and all, which really has nothing to do with them, but this is what the storyline is, and okay, they develop a real dislike for each other. Usually the guys that are very extra about what they're saying and trying to be so, like, I'm gonna, beat you to death. I'm gonna, try to really intimidate. They're not as confident as they pretend to be, and they want to be able to do these things, but we'll see. Thursday night is an odd night for a fight, but this type of fight, whatever. Don't know I don't even know what's on the undercard, who's on the undercard. I don't even know, but I'll pretty much, whether I catch a replay of it or whatever, I'll decide. I'm on my way home now, and I'll figure out what I'm going to do once I get home. But yeah, pulling for Chris to win. I'm pulling for him to win. And to be honest with you, if Chris Eubank Jr. lose to Connor Benn, then any hopes of him fighting anybody at 160 or 68 that's worth anything, those dreams are crushed. Especially the fact that this guy is coming up from 147. That doesn't always play a factor with every particular fighter if you move up the right way and if you can carry the weight. But if Chris Eubank Jr. fight with his smarts, I really think he should win by unanimous decision. And I think Connor should be playing catch up the whole fight. Connor's not, people, he wants to, he goes for the knockout, yes. But Connor's not the type of guy that cuts the ring off and punish, top level fighters. Connor just basically, he's showed power, and mostly at 147. And then honestly, like I said, since he popped dirty and went through what he went through and all, you don't see those knockouts. His body doesn't even look the same. So, just saying. The way I see it, if Connor's at his absolute best, and Chris is as well, I say Chris should win by unanimous decision or stoppage. And I just feel like Connor's gonna try. Of all people on earth, it's like I'd rather lose to anybody other than Chris Eubank Jr. And I feel like that also can be a deciding factor. But we'll see. We'll see. But personally, I'm pulling for Chris Eubanks. Now, I can never tell you exactly what's going to happen. Even when I predict something and it's spot on, okay? It didn't happen because I said it was going to happen. It happened because that's the dynamics of the fight that caused it to happen. But I'm looking at what each fighter does. So even though I want to see Chris win, I'm not guaranteeing anything. Because like I said, you just don't know what a fighter's going to do come fight night. Now, forget the guy named that beat Chris a couple of years ago and he came back and avenged the loss when he was trying to get cute in the corner and all that. All of those things, like I said, experience game is in losses too, not just wins. So I just feel like the controversy of him being on the other end of a fight where nobody pretty much thought he could win the rematch, and he went in there and he did what he had to do and made it look easy. He did what he was supposed to do. Like, you're not Roy Jones. You'll never be Roy Jones. You could never be Roy Jones. You have to be Chris Eubank, Jr. And pretty much, it's no harm in trying things new. And it really wasn't the fact of him trying to fight like Roy Jones. It was the showboating that got him got him stopped. But at the end of the day, man, this is a grudge match, a real dislike. I don't know if these guys are gonna hug it out, fist bump or whatever at the end. If they're gonna put this behind them. If it did happen like that. Being that their fathers fought twice, they'll probably fight twice regardless to the outcome. And if they did, I could see the shit talking continuing afterwards. But the way this is, because I'm just not into the entertainment. I can't pretend to like somebody that I don't, and I can't pretend that. Just go along with it just to sell a fight. It's cheesy. It's cheap. We need to deliver in the ring. That's what I watch fights for. So, press conferences and all that stuff won't change my mind as far as, my interest in watching a fight. I'm looking at my time frame for what I have to do during the course of this day. That's why I'm saying either I'm going to catch it, replay, which what I'll catch is a replay, because I don't want to watch just the main event. I want to see the whole card. I don't even know who's on the card. So that'll be that. But tell me what you guys think. Chris Eubank Jr. or Connor Benn. That's all I got for you guys now. Catch you guys later with some more boxing talk.